everyone, it's me Laura from the Paper Soul. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. We are about a little bit past the middle of January, and February is coming towards us. So what I did, I wanted to make a couple of Valentine inspired mini albums. I call these mini highlighted albums. They're loaded. I made some for Christmas. This one was in a video. I now have it listed in my shop for sale, and then I made this one as well. These were highlighting Artymaze's kits, and I'll list those below. What I used, one was Watercolor Christmas, and the other one was Fussy Cuts. I think it was Christmas Fussy Cuts. So you can see these cute little images and everything like that. So let me, I've shown this one on camera. I'll flip through this one so you can kind of see what we're wanting to make, but I want to do a Valentine theme. And I do have, let me get it, it's right here. I have one that is, I'm going to show you how to put the sections together. Okay, so I have the little sections here, so we're going to do something Valentine there. And I told everyone I would do a tutorial for how to make this. So that's what we're going to do today, is do the tutorial. So let me just flip through this one since I haven't shown this one on camera yet. The thing about the highlight albums here that makes this so great, and the fact that if you buy, like I say, you can still, there's still time to decorate for Christmas. If you're like me, Christmas, all the holidays, they just come and go. They're here before you know it and gone before you know it. And it's almost like by the time I get into my thoughts of crafting, the holiday's over. And I don't know if you guys are like that too, but the beauty of this is that now that you've had your pictures, you've had your holidays, you can make one of these and then take your favorite pictures and put them in and journal a little bit about your Christmas. So that's what the premise for these were. I will say also, this was an idea from the bones of this. I got the idea from Pink Strawberryz. I will list her below, her YouTube for you as well. And then I did a few little changes just to make it my own. But the bones of it, her idea, and you also could, or I got it from her. I don't know if it was her idea, but she might have gotten it from someone else herself. The thing too is you can always change up the sizes of things. It doesn't have to be a direct science, but I kept to the formula here. And what I'm going to do, I'll flip through and then I'll show you. I have the information for you, and you can freeze frame your video. So here I have, the front. It's got lace on the side right here, glitter, snowflakes. I've got doily under here. Believe in the Magic, that's from Artymaze. This pretty little image here, vintage images from Artymaze. I did sew around it. And then here I have a couple of tickets with a little pocket, a little tag there that I made and sewed around. More little snowflakes. This is a pocket. Here's a little tab from Artymaze's kit. And then here's like a little piece of cardstock paper, pretty cardstock, and I put some washi tape on it just to protect it. So you can journal inside of that. So you can journal a little bit about your Christmas. And I think now January is like the perfect time for that kind of thing, because the holidays have slowed down and now you can actually sit back and flip through your pictures that you took and reflect on the memories of your Christmas. These were some images from Artymaze's Fussy Cuts. That one as well. So I thought this would be cute I thought this would be cute for a label to put 2021, so you'll know which Christmas you're talking about. I popped in an extra little tag there with a ribbon, and that is from the Watercolor Christmas. And the way I put this, that sits in a pocket like this, and I'm going to show you the whole construction of this. This was a lot of fun, I must say. Yeah, that's not supposed to be closed. Okay, so this one is an embossed piece of vellum. This is my cardstock, and I decorated that. More cardstock. You can put a picture here, a photo here, journal here. That is a pretty little stamped a quote or biblical scripture from Luke 2:10 about Christmas. And then here I have, you flip that up and you can do some more journaling. On the back I have a doily, more little fussy cutouts from Artymaze here. I shrunk one of her little envelopes down to like 30%, or might have been smaller than that. And then this is one of, also in her kit, and there's a vellum pocket right here. And there's a wonderful tag. And so I built in the extra pocket right here. I'm gonna show you how I did that. But that's how I did that. And on the back you have another pocket, and then I made like a little tag here with some of my washi tapes, Christmas washi tapes. That's from Artymaze's kit. And I did a little stamping of a recipe. So you could journal or write maybe a couple of your favorite recipes at Christmas time that you always like to make, or that you had this year, or something like that. So then I have my little twine, and it's red and white twine, and you wrap this 3 times. And that gives it some extra texture. And then when you come around that 3rd time, I take the top piece here, the shorter piece, and then I just tie a little bow. So like I say, when I had released these prior to Christmas, I had people ask for a tutorial for this, and it really is cute. It's small. It's something you could keep out on your desk or on your mantle all year, and just, you know, bookcase or whatever, and just open it up and look at some of your photos that you put in there, and just remember your Christmas, you know, that you had. So I thought it was a cute idea because you actually can do anything. You could do Halloween with this, and I actually was going to do a couple of Halloween, but it was just taking me so long. I thought I'll go on and do this one that I added. I've popped these into my shop, so these 2 are for sale. Like I say, they're still timely, even though Christmas is gone. Now's the time to reflect on Christmas, pick out your favorite pictures that you took, and jot down some favorite memories. But Valentine's is what I want to do, okay? So I'm gonna assemble all this for you, so you'll see how this all comes together. So let's just start on what we're gonna do first, okay? I wrote down, and let me make sure you can see that. I'm probably gonna have to do this in 2 parts, because there's a lot of little decorating, and I think what I'm gonna do is show you, like, once I get this kind of piece together, I'll come and do another video, and then I will show you all the pieces that I collected and where I got them from and everything to decorate the Valentine's mini album. So what you start with, and let me see what I might need to do. You might not be able to see that. You know what I might do? If you bear with me and don't mind the shaking of the camera, let me see if I can bring this closer so that you can actually maybe read my instructions a little bit, and you'll probably be able to freeze frame, you know, pause the video. So I'll just hold this here for a second like that, and then what I'm gonna do, yeah, that should get it. That gets everything, because that's the last little bit right there. So I'll just set that right there, and this will be a point in time if you want to write it down or freeze frame it while you're making it. Then you have that time to do that, and you can kind of see what I did. But I'm going to go over it step by step anyway. The first thing that we're going to do is the top piece, okay? And so the top piece that you have, I'm going to use my Valentine one, since it's Valentine's. This is the top portion of your little album, okay? And I've already got this one decorated. And so how you start out with that to making the bones of that is with a 6x6 piece of paper. It's like cardstock. Now, cardstock can be two-sided, you know, like this one is, This is two-sided cardstock, or it could be, this is X's and O's, or it can be one-sided where you'll have white on the back. So if you do, that's how these were. These were just one-sided cardstock that I did. So what I did is I cut another little piece to cover the front and the back. So that's an option too. So what I'm going to do on this, what you're going to do, you're going to take your 6x6 piece of paper, cardstock, okay? And like I said, if you're not going to do any sewing or don't want to sew, you can sew whatever you want to do or not. But I mean, if you don't want to worry about that extra piece of paper, then pick one that has double-sided. It's just whatever you want to do. And you're going to score. So I'm going to move this, and you're going to score. So you're going to put this on your scoreboard, 6x6, and then you're going to score at 3, turn it, score at 3. Okay, so 3-inch mark, and then you've got your little. You've got that scored. Then what I did is I cut just 1/4 of it. I pick a side, and if you have directional designs, which oftentimes you're going to have, you might have to play with it a little bit to kind of see how the flip is going to be, because you're not always going to have, like in this case, what you're going to do is, this is how best, because it gets a little confusing, but this is how best. I ended up figuring out the best side to cut on. Overall, it may not matter, but I messed with it and tried to figure it out, you know, just to get the best design layout. But what I do is I hold it like this, and it just makes me think of a pair of pants, okay? Like these are the legs of your pants. And so I'm going to, you know, after you've scored them, you're going to fold and crease, fold, crease, and then pick that side, that quarter side that you're going to cut, okay? So here are my little pants, okay? That's how I think of it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this part over like that, okay? And then these are just going to be free-flowing, and I'll show you how that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a bead of glue here and here, like that. If I do a bead of glue here and here, that's going to leave me a pocket, okay? And that was the pocket right here. That makes a pocket, okay? So let me get my glue, and I've got to be real careful with this. So, and of course, the way you fold it, if it's double-sided, has a double-sided design, the way you fold it is going to depend on or determine what color is on the very front of your little booklet, okay? So this is like the first little mini booklet that in this little section. I just kind of broke it down to 3 parts. So I've got my glue here and my glue here, okay? And I just broke it down into 3 parts just to try to make it simple, because it's just a lot. It's not hard, it's just a lot of little moving parts, that's all. Okay, so now that that's glued, this flips back, or this way, and this one flips back the back, okay? So it's like this, okay? All right, so this was flipped this way. I flipped it like this, or glued here and here. This will bend back, and this bends back. That way I've got color on the back. My hearts are upside down here, but that's okay. They're straight up here, and this is straight up, my X's and O's. On the back, my X's and O's are upside down, which is why I made that one on the back, because that's gonna glue onto my vellum piece, okay? So now we have this first piece taken care of, okay? Now we're gonna work on I'm gonna put this aside, and we're gonna work on our back piece, okay? So that would be our back supportive piece. You're going to cut a piece of cereal box or a snack box of cardboard. Now, in the Pink Strawberryz video I saw, she didn't do this, but I felt like it needed it for support. And plus it was giving me another little section where I could create another pocket, okay? So you're gonna cut this piece here to 4 inches by 4.25. So 4 by 4¼ inches, okay? That's what that's gonna be. Then you're going to cut you a piece of cardstock that is also the same size, 4 by 4¼ okay? So those are gonna be the same size. Okay, so then to make a vellum pocket for this, you're going to need a piece of vellum. You don't have to do any of this. It's just the way I did these. And you don't have to make the pocket like this, but I'll show you what the pocket looks like with my little example here. It's actually kind of covered up, so you can't, no, I'll use this as an example because I don't think it's as covered up as much. So let me show you the one in the Christmas one. You can see the pocket a little better. See, it kind of comes like this and has a diagonal, and then I decorated it on top, okay? So what you're gonna do, your vellum pocket piece, your little piece of vellum, you're gonna cut it the size of 4½ by 4¼ and then you're gonna score this piece on 3 sides. Now, this gets a little, I'll put this off to the side for a sec. This gets a little kind of confusing at the very beginning, but ultimately, how to keep it straight is you're gonna have about 1/4 inch more the way you hold this. You're gonna have 1/4 inch on each side, okay? So the scoring of this is going to be, you're gonna score it on 3 sides, and the sides that you're gonna score it on are 2 score lines are gonna be made on the 4½ inch side. So, or excuse me, 4¼ inch side. So this side here is 4¼ okay? Which means this side is 4¼ this side is 4¼ So you're gonna have a score line here, a score line here, and then this side is 4½. So you're gonna have 1 score line here. You do not have to go through all this. You could just cut a piece of vellum the same size as this and just sew it on and everything like that, make it more simple. I'm just doing it the way it was initially done. So let's score it, okay? Let me push this aside here. This, I'm gonna do 1/4 inch on this side. So I've got my vellum here, and I'm just gonna score 1/4 inch. And sometimes you might want to run it a couple of times. This one is this side right here is my 4½, and I am only do 1 on that side because that's the bottom, and this is the 4¼ side here, and so that's 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is all that I am scoring it. And did I add that? Let's see. Score lines on 4½, and I didn't say how much. You are scoring it 1/4 inch. Let me write that down for you so that you will know in your instructions. I apologize, that right there. So this little grouping, score right here. 2 score lines on the 4½ inch side, 0.25 inch. So 1/4 inch is what you score, and then 1 score line on the 4½ inch side, and the score line is gonna be 0.25, 1/4 inch. Okay. Okay. So now you've got your score lines, and basically what you're gonna be doing, you can cut this out if you want that little square just to reduce bulk, but no bigger than all of this is. I just folded it on over and just kept it there. I didn't like take that bulk out. Okay, so then you're just going to just fold them in on your score line, and then there you have that. Okay, and then I just kind of wrap that like that. So doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. And And then your piece, once you fold all those in, your piece is going to fit this little piece of paper, okay? So you will have, you're gonna put this here. And what I did on mine is I sewed, I went on and glued it down, and then I sewed it, you know, after I did everything. The next part we're gonna do is we're gonna get a diagonal pocket, and how I just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be specific. I think what I did on mine is I measured like about a 1 1/4 inch here, and made I made a little dot, pencil dot, and then I did 1 1/2 this way. So my pencil, I don't think I brought my pencil, I'll just use my pen. So I just did, and you can eyeball it, you know, how you want to cut it on the angle, you can eyeball that. So I just did 1 inch and 1/4. Get my ruler straight. And like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, that's the pen I'm gonna use because it's real fine. All right, so 1 1/4 would be about here, and I'm just gonna put the teeniest, tiniest little black dot there to indicate where I'm gonna line up my cutter, okay? And then on this side, so that's at the top, okay? 1 1/4 inch, and then on the side from the bottom, I'm going to come to 1 1/2, okay? So I'm gonna just measure 1 1/2 on my vellum, 1 1/2, and that will give me my angle. And then I'm just gonna put the teeniest, tiniest little black mark, okay? And then I will line that up on my cutter, and I will be putting like a diagonal line about like that, okay? And that will give me a cute little pocket. So that's how you're doing it. So you have a score line here, or folded over piece, folded over score line, folded over score line. This is the bottom, and this is the top, and then so let me do that real quick. My cutter is right here. Okay, so I have that cut now, and then this is going to fit on my little cardstock like that. Okay, so let me go on and glue that. Just get it in place. I'm not going to put a lot of glue because I'm going to come and I'm going to sew mine. So I'm just using Fabri-Tac, and just a little bit. Like I say, I'm sewing mine, so the sewing, I just like the decorative look of it, and plus that's going to make sure that it stays secure. Again, if you want to skip the step, I would imagine, since I'm sewing mine, I would imagine you could just cut it the size that this piece of paper is and angle it, and then just sew it directly on, and you don't have to worry about the folding score lines on this one. And it would just make it more simple. But I'm just showing you how I did mine. Initially, I think the gluing is supposed to give you a little openness to your pocket, but since I sewed mine anyway, that kind of clamped that down. So you didn't really have that, I didn't really have extra space in it. But it was just supposed to give you a little extra space, okay? So there you have that. Now, remember the little cereal box? Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cover this with something really, a pretty background, okay? And what I have is a piece of background paper from Artymaze. She's got some beautiful background pages. I use a background page, this one on this little guy, and I'll show you that in a minute. So that's the color I used, and I thought those were very Valentine-y. So this one was pretty. I like that teal. So what I do on this is take it to the back, okay? And then I'm going to glue this. And I'm gonna leave about maybe a little more than 1/4 of an inch space so that I can fold the paper over it, okay? So I'm just covering it. You can use that little corner piece of vellum as a pocket that you cut off, so save that and don't waste. So let's get this on, okay? I'm just gonna cover this up with all of my glue and my Fabri-Tac here. And I might have to smooth this with my finger, get it smooth. And then I'm just going to put it, like I said, down where I have enough that I'm going to wrap some of that paper around. So I'm going to make sure this gets glued on really good. I'm gonna take that off because it's, and I've got my little card to just kind of make sure there's no bubbles, air bubbles in it. I want that secured. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm leaving that extra paper around the border. Okay. A little bit more room there. Okay, I just eyeballed that and put that aside for later. And all I do now, is just going on and bending before I glue. On this, I think I did take some of the bulk out. So after you've creased it like that around all the sides, you've got a little square in each corner. And I just kind of come in like this near it and then like that. So I do take that extra little bit out. I just angle it and I leave a little bit of space right here because you don't want that cardboard showing. It just gives you a nice finish and it takes that bulk out. Okay, all right, now I'm ready to glue these. Let me get this back just to protect my fabric because every time I think I'm not going to be messy. Let's see. Yeah, there and here. Then I get glue on stuff when I don't really expect to. Okay, so I've already kind of pre-folded that, and you just want to press down and make sure. Let's see if I have enough glue. I might not have enough glue on that. My light is a little dark. It's gray out there, so my light is been a little dark today. Just kind of flatten this down with a little card you have. And then I will do, what I do is kind of try to bend. There's a way to kind of like bend this little corner piece, fold it in so that when it, but I think that'll be all right on that one. I don't really have to. That's good. That'll be good coverage. So anyway, I'm ready to do the other side. So let's get the glue on that little strip. And that. You have to kind of hold it down just a little bit, just until it grabs. And then this one, and then put that one over. I've got glue on my hands now, so it's like trying not to get it on my paper. Okay, so So what I do, now that you have that on, you've got this pretty piece of paper. I have to get the right way. These are we're the same size here. So that's the way that's going to fit, because that fits perfectly right there, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to sew around this, and I sew on this side that's going to show the outside. So I will go to my machine and sew around that. If you want to sew, that would be the time to do that once your glue is dry. And then I'm going, again, once the glue is dry, sew around this one. You can make sure you ink around the paper and everything like that too at this time, okay? Then these two are going to come together like this. The backs of these two are going to come together like this. And when after they're, but before I do that, okay, go on and get your sewing done. Now we're going to do the middle part, and then I'll show you how that comes together. I hope y'all are hanging in there with me. It's really not hard. It's just a lot of little moving pieces. That's all. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our middle section, our little middle pages, okay? So we are going to cut the vellum piece and 2 pieces of pattern cardstock, and I'm going to tell you the sizes that we're going to do. Your vellum piece is going to be 4.5 by 3.5. Okay, so this is, 4.5 by 3.25. So this is 3.25. This is 4.5. You're going to score 1/2 inch on one side. So you're going to score it on the short side, vertical. I always get confused. It's confusing to me, but you have to be really careful with your scoreboard. So you're going to put the vellum on your board, your scoreboard, the long side going horizontal like that, and the vertical part is going to be the short, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay? Then if you want to emboss this piece, now's the time to do it, and this gives you a little lip to wrap around your your little embossing folder. And it'll sit outside so it doesn't get embossed. I really didn't want that embossed because sometimes your embossing can crack your vellum a little bit or cut it too much, and you don't want that part cut because we're going to fold. That's going to how it's going to be hinged together, okay? So this would be the time to, emboss that if you want to, but you can leave it plain if you want. The next piece is going to be a cardstock piece. And you're going to cut it 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches, okay? So that's what this is, 3.5 by 3.5. You are going to score, since it's the same size all around, just score 1/2 inch on one side. Just make sure that if there's a pattern that you want, like, or however the direction goes, make sure you're going to do this on the left side, okay? So just get your pattern and your designs the way you want them. The last piece is going to be cardstock 4 inches by 4 inch piece. And you're going to, again, score 1/2 inch on one of the sides. Usually it's going to be on the left, okay? So then what we're going to do is you're going to center, after you have your score lines, you're going to fold it, and then you're going to start layering this middle section, okay? So we're going to glue, I just centered them is what I did. And so what you're going to do is you're going to glue, center it, and then I'm going to glue this flap, flip it to the back. See how we are? These are bent. I'm going to wrap that piece around here like that. I'm going to flip it to the back, open this piece up, and glue here and attach it to that, okay? So that's what we're going to do. And again, I'm using Fabri-Tac because I think Fabri-Tac is one of the best glues there is. It just really, I feel good about the stuff and my stuff and how it's going to hold together with Fabri-Tac, okay? So there you have that. So this is still opening up. It's going to hinge open, okay? You're going to do the same thing with this. Now, what I did The way I lined my vellum piece up is I wrapped it around that top piece there, and I just lined the vellum with the bottom piece of this second one piece behind it. That's how I lined it up. You can line it up here if you want. It's just however you want to do it. Flip it to the back, and now what we're going to do is, I think I lost my spot here when I flipped it. So we're going to flip this back here, hold it in place, open up the vellum, and now I'm going to glue that vellum flap to the next piece. And like that. And just kind of press it down and make sure it's good. All right, so at this point we have managed to do our little back piece. We covered our cereal snack box up, cardboard for sturdiness. We've got this piece here. We have our middle section, and then we have our little front flap section, okay? So it's easier to do it and just break it down into little sections like that, okay? So the next thing that we would do, after you sew this piece, if you decide that you want to sew around it, okay, you are going to connect this middle section to this. And the way I lined it up when I did it is when I had my little stitching, I just tried to, again, just put it line it up in the middle. That's what I tried to do, just line it up the best I could. Then at that point, you're going to glue that flap down there. So all of those little layers are going to be attached, but they're hinging, okay? So it's going to open up. That whole thing is going to open up. And then at that point, after that's done, you are going to glue this unit to this. And how I do it is this way, the bottom, and the sides, okay? The side, and the bottom. Then I have a pocket at the top, okay? That's how that will come together. Then you're going to take this piece and you are going to glue it to this entire unit, okay? So just pretend that's all together. And you're going to, and I just, again, I put the, whatever looks the best to you. Like if you want to line it up with the vellum there, however you want to line it up. Like if you wanted to put it at the top of the vellum and have part of the bottom showing, or vice versa. And then I made a pocket out of that. I glued it on the back. Here's the back. And I glued the side, bottom, and side, and then I did it like that, and then I have another pocket. So that was how I changed these up. I changed it up by the extra cardboard sturdiness of the project. Added the way I glued that, I had a pocket, and the way I glued this, I had a pocket. Okay, so that's how that's going to come together, and that's the bones of your project. Now, here is one that has all kinds of stuff in it, and maybe what I ought to do is take all the goodies out and just show you how I'm going to bring this all together, okay? So here I have, and see, that's my little back piece. Let me take all that out too. Okay, so here's that little piece. It's already decorated, but you know, I'm just trying to show you how it all comes. See how it's sewn, okay? And then I decorated this. And then here is this piece, my little flat pieces, my vellum, my cardstock, and my other piece of cardstock, the little hinge together. I'm going to hinge this and glue this to the back of this, and I kind of just try to see as much stitching. The way I line it up is to see as much stitching at the top and the bottom as I possibly can. And so then what I do here is I glue this to the back, okay? Just glue that like that. That way, that little hinge is tucked up under once you glue it to your other piece here, okay? So that's how I do that. And then I've got my other little thing and I'd already decorated it, and that's when I will glue that to that. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop this video because it's probably been kind of long. In my next video, which is continuing, what we'll do is I'll have this one ready to go, and then we're going to, this one here that we just made the bones on, I have all kinds of goodies in this bag, and we're going to decorate it. I'm going to put it together, and then we're going to decorate it on camera for you. So stay tuned for part 2, and I'll see you in just a moment. Bye.